Most men beg for attention. You will learn to control hers. Have you ever said all the right things and still got ignored? Watched her eyes drift while you gave her your best? Told yourself, next time I'll be funnier, nicer, more confident, and still got nowhere? You're not alone, because most men are playing a rigged game. You're trying to win respect from someone who senses you don't respect yourself. But what if you didn't try to impress her? What if you made her chase your presence instead? This video is your turning point. Comment, control the room, if you're ready to change everything. Number 1. Don't try to impress her. Trying to impress a woman is the fastest way to lose her respect. It's the language of a man who doesn't know he has value. When you enter any interaction believing that your worth depends on how much she smiles, laughs, or compliments you, you've already placed her opinion above your truth. And once you've handed that control over, she no longer has to work to discover who you are. She simply scans and shelves you with every other man who made her validation his goal. And from that moment, your words lose weight, your presence loses tension, and your impact disappears before you've even begun speaking. Because deep down, she isn't drawn to your achievements or your kindness or your effort. She's pulled toward the man who seems like he's already full without her, who speaks not to please but to express, who listens not to perform but to evaluate. And when you stop trying to impress and start standing in what you believe, whether or not she agrees, she begins to wonder who you are, because now you're no longer chasing, you're leading, and in that space, you become different. Not because you're trying to be, but because very few know how to exist without needing to be liked. And it's in that rare energy that desire is born, respect is built, and control returns to you. And most men don't even see this happen. They think being agreeable, overly polite, and endlessly supportive will earn affection. But what they're really doing is training her to ignore them. Because when everything you say is designed to be accepted, you become easy to figure out. And once she figures you out, she stops feeling anything. And it's not because she's cruel or broken or impossible to satisfy. It's because she's wired to value what she must work to understand. And if you're always clear, available, predictable, and desperate to prove you're worthy, there's no mystery left, there's no edge, and there's no challenge. And without challenge, there is no interest. And without interest, there is no emotional imprint. And without that imprint, you become forgettable. And men don't realize how many times they've talked themselves out of attraction by simply trying too hard to win approval instead of embodying value. And value isn't in words, gifts, or humor. It's in how still you remain when she tests you, how little you react when she pulls away, how direct you are when you speak your mind without softening it for comfort. And the reason she doesn't stay isn't because you weren't nice enough. It's because you made her feel emotionally superior, and no one feels desire for someone they believe they control. And if you want to break free from this cycle, you must kill the need to impress. You must stop performing, you must stop trying to be chosen, and you must start choosing, not with arrogance but with clarity, not to hurt but to lead. And that begins by knowing what you stand for before she even arrives, because when your values are solid, your attention becomes expensive, and when your attention becomes expensive, she starts to value it more than the men who gave it freely. And if you're ready to stop being ignored, stop chasing reactions and start living from principle, not performance, because principles keep you rooted when others drift. And when you live from truth instead of tactics, you begin to speak with a quiet confidence that forces people to listen, and that silence between your words becomes louder than any compliment, any joke, any smooth line you thought you needed. And she feels it immediately, because when you're no longer trying to win her, she starts trying to figure out how to keep you. And that's the shift, that's the power, and that's the energy that doesn't beg, doesn't flinch, doesn't bend under pressure, because that kind of energy can't be ignored. And the path to it isn't about learning tricks or playing games. It's about stripping away everything that makes you seek external approval so you can finally stand in who you are, even when no one claps for it. And when you become that, when your worth is decided before you enter the room, you stop needing her interest, because now she's the one wondering if she's interesting enough for you. And when you reach that place, everything changes. Not because she suddenly sees your value, but because you finally did. And if you're ready to live in that energy for good, not just feel it for a moment, the Stoic relationship blueprint is going to take you deeper than any YouTube video ever could. This isn't just a book, it's a complete transformation guide built on timeless Stoic principles that show you exactly how to stop chasing, start leading, and become the grounded presence every high-value person respects. And now, it's finally available as an audiobook, so you can listen while walking, jogging, driving, or just clearing your mind. It's not just something you read once, it's something you own forever, something you can come back to anytime you feel tested, uncertain, or tempted to lower your standard. The link's in the comments. You'll never be the same after this. Number 2. Speak from calm, not need. When you walk into a conversation without needing anything from it, you walk in with power, because the man who needs nothing cannot be manipulated, and most men talk too much, reveal too fast, and chase too hard because they are not okay with being misunderstood or disliked. But the one who speaks with clarity and calm carries a weight that doesn't need permission to exist. And in that stillness, a woman senses he is not moved by her games or her silence or her looks. He sees, but he does not follow. He listens, but he does not shift to impress, and that rattles her because most are predictable, fast to chase, quick to react, and desperate to be accepted. But when you don't need her attention, she has to wonder why. And in that wondering, she feels your presence more than if you had flooded her with praise. And calm speech is not just about volume or tone. It's about the internal certainty that if she walks away, you still win. And when you carry that kind of presence, she feels it without you saying a word. And it's not about being quiet. It's about being rooted in your own standard. Because when you hold a standard that doesn't shift based on her reaction, she realizes she can't pull you out of your position, and that unsettles her. Not because she's cruel, but because she's used to being the emotional authority. And when you remain centered, you remove her power to control the outcome. And that's when real connection can happen, not through performance, but through grounded truth. And most men have never tried this because they're too busy trying not to lose her. But if you were never afraid to lose her in the first place, how would you speak then? How would you hold yourself? Would you still try to fill every silence with words that don't matter, or would you wait, observe, and respond with intent, not emotion? And that's what separates the man she remembers from the one she forgets. Not what he says, but what he doesn't say, and why he doesn't say it. And most men think being calm is about acting cool, but it's not. It's about meaning everything you say and saying nothing you don't believe. It's about speaking from conviction instead of trying to fit into her expectations. And every time you pause before speaking, you are signaling that your words are not cheap. And when your voice is grounded in patience and purpose, she has no choice but to lean in. And the ones who speak too fast, defend too much, or apologize for who they are, lose the frame before the conversation even starts. And you don't need to be loud to be heard. You need to be grounded to be felt, and grounding doesn't come from hoping she accepts you. It comes from accepting yourself so fully that her approval becomes irrelevant. And that is the moment your words become more than sound. They become influence. And when you stop needing her to like you, your speech shifts from insecure to impactful. And instead of trying to convince her you're worth her time, you speak as if you already know your time is valuable, and she senses that, because energy doesn't lie. And when you no longer chase her approval, she starts seeking your attention, not because you withheld it, but because you mastered it. And calm isn't a trick, It's a result of truth, and truth doesn't move to please. It stands to lead, and when your words come from truth, you no longer fear her silence or her judgment or her tests, because now her reactions no longer change your reality. And when she feels that kind of self-possession, she begins to ask herself if she's enough for you, not the other way around, and the power in that shift changes everything, not just in how she sees you, but in how you see yourself. And from that place, you're no longer performing, you're just present, and presence creates tension without effort, respect without begging, and desire without compromise. And when you finally stop speaking to win and start speaking from inner stillness, she starts feeling something she can't explain but doesn't want to lose. And that's when you become unforgettable, not because you said more, but because everything you said was real. And when your presence is calm and your words are clear, you no longer fear her reaction, because you no longer depend on it to define your value. Number 3. Talk like you already won. Most men walk into conversations already trying to prove they're worthy of being chosen, and this single mindset turns their presence into a performance, because the moment you need to be liked, you shift from grounded truth to emotional gymnastics, and she doesn't have to test you to know you're not centered. You've already exposed that your sense of worth is tied to how she responds to you. When you speak from the belief that you're enough as you are, without trying to be impressive or charming or accepted, you create a completely different experience for her, because instead of chasing validation or permission, you're choosing to see if she meets your standard. And most don't know what that even looks like, because they've never created a life where their approval matters more than anyone else's. And when a woman senses that you're not trying to win her, she feels the pressure flip, because now she's in front of someone she can't control with attention or approval. And most men think that if they stop trying, they'll lose her. But what they don't see is that their effort to be chosen is exactly what makes them forgettable, because people don't remember those who give everything up front. They remember those who remain calm in the face of being misunderstood, who don't adjust their opinions just to be agreeable, who stand in their values and invite others into it, not force it, not beg for it, not mold it into something smaller to fit in. And when you speak from conviction instead of insecurity, she feels a shift in power without you having to raise your voice or prove anything. And speaking like you've already won doesn't mean arrogance. It means you've already accepted who you are and what you bring to the table, and you're not waiting for her to confirm it before you act like it's true. And that kind of presence is rare, not because it's hard, but because most are afraid of rejection. And rejection doesn't hurt the man who's grounded in reality. It only breaks the ones who've built their worth on outcomes they can't control. And the truth is, if you fear rejection, you don't fully believe in your own value. And until you handle that, no tactic or technique will save you. And that's why most men get stuck. They try to memorize lines or signals or tricks, but they never ask the real question: do I actually see myself as enough? Do I need her to tell me I matter? Do I give away my peace just to get her approval? Because if you do, it doesn't matter how much she smiles or compliments you, it's already over. Because she can feel when your energy is built on her attention instead of your own principles. And the way you change that is by owning your space without apology. By walking into the interaction with a mindset that doesn't shift based on her tone or her test or her silence. And you build that by doing hard things when no one's watching, by keeping your word to yourself, by honoring your time like it's not for sale. And when you start living like that, your conversations change, because now you're not trying to make her laugh or prove you're good enough. You're speaking like someone who already knows, and that confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being consistent with what you say and how you live. And when those two things align, she can feel it, and she starts listening differently, respecting differently, responding differently, and you don't even have to ask for it. It happens because your presence demands it without ever chasing it. Number 4. Be the mystery she can't solve. A woman never obsesses over what she completely understands. And if she can predict everything you're going to say, how you'll react, and what you'll do next, she loses emotional tension because her brain stops needing to solve who you are. When you make yourself predictable, easy to read, and always emotionally available, you create comfort, but you destroy curiosity. And without curiosity, there's no chase, no depth, no reason for her to keep thinking about you once you're gone. And most men confuse being available with being consistent, but they are not the same. Consistency is rooted in self-discipline. Availability is often rooted in desperation. And she knows the difference even when she doesn't say it, because the man who is always there, always quick to text, always quick to validate, always agreeable, becomes emotionally obvious. And emotional obviousness is the enemy of emotional engagement, because once she maps your behavior, once she knows what makes you jealous, what makes you needy, what makes you spiral, she stops seeing you as someone she's trying to keep and starts seeing you as someone she already owns. And no one values what they control fully. They only value what they can't quite predict. And that doesn't mean playing games or withholding love. It means you are whole without needing constant affirmation. And that wholeness shows in how you speak, how you pause, how you don't chase questions with endless words, trying to stay relevant. And when you stop reacting on impulse, you gain the space to become intentional. And in that space, you create uncertainty. Not the kind that makes her feel unsafe, but the kind that keeps her intrigued, because she doesn't know what you'll say next, and she doesn't feel like she's figured you out. And in that feeling, her attention grows stronger, and her ego begins to whisper questions she can't answer. Why doesn't he need me the way others do? Why isn't he chasing me even when I pull back? What does he see in me that makes him stay silent when others would overreact? And now you become an emotional puzzle, not because you're manipulative, but because you don't live for approval. And that self-possession creates emotional space that her mind can't fully grasp. And when she can't grasp you, she keeps thinking about you. And that's how you live rent-free in her thoughts. Not by giving more, but by giving less with more meaning. By being present but not predictable, available but not dependent, interested but not consumed. And the men who master this don't do it to trick her. They do it because they've outgrown the need to be someone else just to feel important. And when you live like that, your energy becomes rare, and rare things aren't easy to replace. And the world has taught men to overshare, to overextend, to prove their emotions by bleeding them out loud. But what they don't realize is that emotional overexposure creates weakness because it shows no restraint. And without restraint, there is no power. And you become a man of depth when you stop making your emotions her responsibility. When you start holding them with care, not suppression, but precision. Because every time you speak out of urgency, you reveal your lack of control. And when you are always expressive without filter, you become readable. And when you are always readable, you become replaceable. And your presence loses its weight because she never has to earn it. And what is always free is always forgotten. And if you want to stay in her thoughts, don't fill the space with performance. Fill it with presence. Don't always explain. Let your silence raise questions. Don't always text back. Let her feel what it's like to wonder, and not because you're punishing her, but because your life doesn't revolve around proving you're available. And when she learns that your emotional energy is selective, that your time isn't free, that your mind isn't easily read, you become different from every other man who shows his entire emotional landscape in the first few days just to feel chosen. And that difference creates value, because value isn't in what's given, it's in what's earned. And she cannot earn what you've already given away before she even tried. So if you want her respect, her obsession, her craving for more, Stop handing out your attention like it has no cost, and start holding your emotional reactions with discipline, because nothing commands attention more than a man who refuses to be predictable, who holds emotional space without explaining it, and who never sacrifices mystery for the illusion of closeness, because closeness without depth becomes routine, and routine kills desire faster than rejection ever could. Number 5. Speak with intent. Most men speak without purpose, filling the silence with noise just to feel heard. But when every word has weight and you speak only from truth, your presence becomes impossible to ignore. The man who speaks with intent doesn't waste words trying to be liked. He speaks because he has something to say. And in a world full of people who speak for attention, the one who speaks from clarity stands out, because intention behind speech reveals character more than volume or vocabulary ever could. And when your words are not shaped by who you're trying to impress, but by what you genuinely believe, you become consistent in presence and unpredictable in impact. And the reason most conversations go nowhere is because men speak hoping to achieve an outcome instead of revealing where they stand. And when your speech is tied to outcome, you can't be honest, because you'll say whatever you think gets you approval. But when you cut that tie and start speaking for alignment, for principle, for the sake of truth, you filter out what's weak and surface level. And now everything you say begins to build authority, because you're not negotiating your truth in exchange for attention. And when you start living that way, you'll see how fast people listen when they realize you're not here to entertain them. You're here to speak reality. And the moment you do that with calm, grounded energy, everything about your communication changes. And speaking with intent means you're not rushing to reply, not performing to fit in, not speaking to avoid silence. It means you've trained yourself to speak less, say more, and make every sentence reflect your values, not your insecurity. And when you show up like that, the reaction you get is different. Not because your tone changed, but because your self-respect got louder, and respect is felt before it's spoken. And she feels when a man respects his own voice more than her approval, and she begins to trust what he says, not because he's persuasive, but because he doesn't bend his truth just to be heard. And that kind of speech holds weight. And when you speak with weight, you don't have to raise your voice to be felt. You just say what you mean and let people adjust or walk away, and both are fine. Because when your words are rooted in purpose, you don't chase reactions. You observe them and adjust your direction without emotional chaos. And the men who struggle the most are the ones who never pause to ask themselves what their voice is actually saying about them. Because if you speak without clarity, you sound lost, and no one follows someone who sounds lost. So if you want to be respected, if you want to be heard, stop practicing speeches and start practicing silence followed by clarity. And don't just talk to say something. Speak only when your words mean something, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's unpopular, because that is where authority lives, not in loudness or charm, but in precision, in saying what others avoid saying, because it's easier to be liked than it is to be honest. And if you don't build this skill, you'll always find yourself over-explaining, oversharing, and being misunderstood. And nothing burns slower than being misunderstood repeatedly while trying your hardest to be understood. And the solution isn't to talk more, it's to talk better, with structure, with standards, with self-respect. And when you live like that, your words no longer become tools for validation. They become instruments for leadership. And leadership in speech isn't about telling others what to do. It's about showing them how you carry your truth, even when it costs you applause. And the reason most men don't speak with intent is because they haven't figured out who they are without feedback. And you cannot speak clearly if your identity changes with every room you walk into. And when you fix that, when your words match your actions, you'll start to notice how few people can actually do that, and you won't want to be around those who can't. And speaking with intent becomes a filter, not just for who listens, but for who stays. Because people feel safe with clarity, and clarity is rare when most are still trying to be accepted by anyone who will listen. And if you don't build that intentionality, you'll always talk too much, say too little, and confuse others with mixed signals that even you don't understand. But when you commit to purpose, everything becomes simpler. You say less, you mean more, and the ones who get it stay, and the ones who don't are meant to leave. They don't want you to have this knowledge. Not society, not the media, not even the people who say they care about you. Because the moment you truly understand yourself, stop chasing validation, and start leading with calm, grounded presence, you become impossible to control. That's why the Stoic relationship blueprint was created, because no one's teaching you how to own your truth without begging to be chosen. This book is filled with timeless Stoic principles that don't just inspire you, they transform you instantly. And now it's available as an audiobook, so you can listen to it while walking, training, or building your future. You'll hear the truth most men live their whole lives avoiding, and you'll never unhear it. This book stays with you forever. It's yours, for life. Hit the link in the comments, get the blueprint, and become everything they told you to suppress. If you're done wasting years trying to impress people who forget you tomorrow, comment, "I reclaim my power." Like this video, subscribe. Help more men find the truth before they waste their prime trying to be someone they were never meant to be.